What's going on, YouTube? You got Bacon here bringing you another video. This one, my VPL Season 3 Week 3 match versus my friend Jeff. Jeff and I have been playing Pokemon together for a long time, Wi-Fi battles, whatever. Good friends from college. So, a little unfortunate we have to have the team kill here. We're actually prep partners week in, week out. Obviously not this week since we're playing each other. But yet another team kill here. Last time we played Jeff was the playoffs, first round of the playoffs last season. And I think we picked up a 3 or a 4-0 that game. Not really sure. But we did come out on top last game. Historically, I've kind of had Jeff's number. We also played in the kind of unofficial third place match for the first season of the VPL, and I won that as well pretty convincingly. So looking at the matchup this time, I think it's going to be a lot closer. I thought coming into this match it was going to be a lot closer. Obviously, I already know the outcome than it has been in our previous games, just because his team's got actually, I think, a really good matchup versus me. I had to bring some kind of I guess normally draft league you bring non-standard stuff, but I had to bring some kind of weird stuff this week to make it work versus Jeff here, because he's got a really threatening team. Just going over it really quickly, his tier 1 pick there, you can see on the screen, is the Manaphy. He's got Manaphy, Stakataka, Jolteon, Nidoqueen, Silvally, Cryogonal, Mega Altaria, Cofagrigus, Infernape, Serena, and Yanmega. With Manaphy being his Z status user, obviously Z Rain Dance is a huge threat versus my team. I do expect him to have it this week, just because it pretty much rips through me if enough stuff's chipped. I got to keep my Abomasnow healthy for that in particular, because I don't think you'd run like HP Fire on a Z Rain Dance set. Now, obviously, Abomasnow would reset the weather to Hail, so the HP Fire would do normal damage, but shouldn't OHKO me from full. And I also, like I said, don't think he'll be carrying it. I think he'll have something like Surf, Ice Beam, and Energy Ball, so that he can still hit my Greninja, is what I was predicting coming into this match. Nidoqueen was kind of an obvious bring here. I'm expecting to be especially defensive, maybe Assault Vest or just Spadef with Black Sludge for my Tapu Koko. Really obvious bring, I think, this game, but he kind of had to bring it still. Same thing on the other end there with the Serena. I was 100% expecting Serena to come, probably a physically defensive set to help handle my Zygarde. Mega Altaria obviously being a huge threat to my team here. DD Mega Altaria is scary, Agility Mega Altaria is scary. That mon's got great natural bulk, so it's easy to get a setup move off. So I'm going to have to be really careful about how I play around that thing. Stakataka came obviously under Trick Room. It can beat down things like Koko and Greninja, and even Zygarde to some extent if he's carrying like Shuka Berry or something like that. And he also brought the Infernape, which can really do a number of things, pretty much anything any week. Seen in my ABC season draft recap, where I drafted Infernape, I was kind of extolling the virtues of how many different things you can do with Infernape. But this week I've got a kind of interesting team here. We've started out here with the Mega Abomasnow, really good versus team. I've got a Focus Blast for the Stakataka, because I'm thinking he might run Shuka Berry, and I don't want to end up getting caught on like an Earthquake if he's Shuka Berry. I can take one Gyro Ball from full, assuming he hasn't gotten a +1, a min speed, I believe, so I can take him a little bit better, and obviously I'll outslow everything else on his team. So it's Focus Blast, Blizzard, Giga Drain, and Ice Shard. Ice Shard to help, of course, pick down that Altaria if it's weakened after setting up a Dragon Dance or something like that. The rest of that just kind of hits his team pretty well. I actually brought my own Trick Room this week, and you're like, why would you bring Trick Room versus Stakataka? Fair point, but in this case, the Trick Room is more to reset on the Stakataka, so this is actually Min Speed, Max Fizz Def Claydol, so I can switch in on the Stakataka. If he goes for Trick Room, I can reset it and hit him with strong Earth Power. Or if the Stakataka's gone late game, Trick Room's actually more in my favor, because my Mega Abomasnow just kind of rips through him with the exception of his Infernape. So definitely could potentially, if the Stakataka's gone early game or something like that, get a Trick Room up with my Claydol, get my Abomasnow in, and just fire off some nice Blizzards, Giga Drains, that kind of thing. Blizzard is really spammable versus team. It's going to do massive damage to everything, and even Infernape doesn't want to switch in on that. Obviously, Manaphy doesn't want to come in on a potential grass move anyways. So Abomasnow under Trick Room, if I can get it there with the Stakataka gone, would look really, really nice for me. I got a Subtoxic Protect Zygarde this week with 1,000 Arrows. 1,000 Arrows still being nice to hit things like the Infernape, Nidoqueen, Stakataka. But obviously I'm predicting his switch into Zygarde to be the Serena. I've got enough I'm max HP with some Spadef, I think. But with the max HP, I'm able to actually not have my sub broken by anything but play rough and I believe high jump kick from a defensive Serena. So I can just toxic that thing on the switch in, sub up, can't break my sub, hopefully. And then I can just sub, protect, stall it until it dies. Next up, we've got Nidoking here. I've got Choice Scarf Nidoking this week. Outspeeds +1 Mega Altaria, and obviously will outspeed a neutral speed, so non-boosted speed, Infernape or Manaphy. Choice Scarf Infernape definitely has potential versus me because I've got things like the Greninja and the Tapu Koko. And obviously, +1 Z Rain Dance Manaphy is going to outrun Nidoking. But I kind of like Thunderbolt this week. If the Manaphy's chipped or something, I can get Sneak a KO with a Thunderbolt. In electric terrain, is going to do massive damage. Obviously, Sludge Wave being nice to hit that +1 Mega Altaria. He really doesn't have good switch-ins for Nidoking. Between Thunderbolt, Earth Power, and Sludge Wave, and Ice Beam, I think I also have on this set. I hit everything on his team super effectively. Do I have Ice Beam on this set? I don't think I have Ice Beam on this set. Yeah, I just have Sludge Wave, Earth Power, Stealth Rock, and Thunderbolt. Stealth Rock just because I wanted Stealth Rocks at some point, but I don't think I'm realistically going to get a chance to click it here. I'll probably just be having to click moves with Nidoking when it's in to hit things hard, especially, like I mentioned, the Mega Altaria if it's at +1. At that point, I guess he would have Mega Evolved, so I wouldn't need Ice Beam to hit it anyways. I could just throw off Sludge Wave. Tapu Koko, I've got Tapunium Z Tapu Koko this week with Nature's Madness, U-Turn, Taunt, and Thunderbolt. Taunt to stop things like the Mega Altaria from setting up on me, potentially, if I need to stop that late game. Really nice to have the Thunderbolt on there. Dazzling Gleam wasn't doing too much to it anyway, so I figured Taunt was kind of the better way to go there. U-Turn just for momentum on a predicted switch into kind of the obvious Nidoqueen or potential Sarina switch-in. Thunderbolt, just because it's Thunderbolt. Actually, I don't have Taunt on this set. I started with Taunt on this set, changed it to Hidden Power Ground late, just because I could potentially 2-hit KO the Nidoqueen with a Tapunium Z into Hidden Power Ground, depending on what he's running. I do, like I mentioned, expect it to be max Spadef, so it'll probably live the two together, but obviously getting the Tapunium Z off on the potential Nidoqueen switch-in is going to be great for me to weaken that thing for the late game. And obviously Hidden Power Ground hits Stack Attack pretty hard. Thunderbolt does pretty well too. But the Hidden Power Ground mostly for Nidoqueen there, and I preferred it over Ice this game anyways. And then lastly here, I've got Life Orb Greninja with Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and Water Shuriken. He really doesn't have good switch-ins for this Pokemon. Water Shuriken being very nice to pick off things like the Infernape, if he's running Choice Scarf or Mach Punch or something like that. And the Stack Attack, if it's under Trick Room, takes massive damage from Water Shuriken. I believe 3 hits does something like 60 or 70% Stack Attack. That might be a little bit high. I'm not sure. But Life Orb Greninja being really nice this match. Like I mentioned, he really doesn't have good switch-ins. If I can get it in on things like Stack Attack and Nidoqueen and just fire off Hydro Pumps at him, he really can't switch into that very well at all. Everything on his team gets 2-hit KO'd by Hydro Pump into Ice Beam, with the exception being Manaphy. Manaphy can take Hydro Pump into something else, but obviously if it's a setup type Manaphy, he's not going to want to be switching that thing in early game to take a bunch of damage from my Greninja. If I happen to get that cheeky Dark Pulse flinch like I'm known for, he'll just lose his Manaphy afterwards if I do stay in to go for the Dark Pulse. So that's the team. We can just get right into the match here. Looking at what he brought, I'm just going to lead with my Greninja. Like I mentioned, he really does not have good switch-ins, and I don't expect him to lead Manaphy or Altaria. It's possible he could lead Serena, but I feel like his likely leads are either Nidoqueen or Infernape, or a potential Stack Attack lead if he's carrying like Stealth Rocks or something. So versus those three, I think my Greninja matches up really well. So right off the bat here, we're going to get in Greninja on Stack Attack, which is great for me. Turn 1, I just get to click Hydro Pump. I get to kill something, basically. Turns out he's Focus Sash Stack Attack. So I'm like, oh crap, is he going to blow away my Greninja here? This is not good. But he just goes for Trick Room. So trying to get the early game Trick Room going. Obviously my team, like I mentioned, is pretty weak to Gyro Ball if he starts to get boosted up. But I do have, like I mentioned, the Water Shuriken, and I'm going to be able to take out the Stack Attack on the second turn of the game, which is amazing for me. Not having to worry about the Stack Attack means if I set my own Trick Room later with Claydol, Abomasnow just goes in on his team. Like I mentioned, the Infernape, obviously I don't really have anything good to hit. Maybe Earthquake was a better bring, but definitely a threat to his team. Altaria comes in, and I'm like, oh crap, it's Altaria. He's going to go for a fairy move. It turns out to be Hyper Voice, so he is Special Altaria. My Claydol's dead. My Clay Doll's dead again, guys. Second week in a row, we just kind of sacked off Clay Doll here. Get a little bit of chip with the Ice Beam onto the Altaria, but like, it's dead again. I swear to God, I won't sack off Clay Doll every week to do basically nothing, but now I get to go Obama Snow. What's he going to do to Obama Snow? I do have one turn left of Trick Room here. Like I mentioned, I don't have the Earthquake to predict an Infernape switch in, so I'm just going to click Blizzard. Blizzard hits his team incredibly hard at this point. Obviously, he's not going to go Manaphy because he can't knock me out, and I can just Giga Drain him and do massive damage and get all my health back. But this Blizzard does about half to Infernape with the Hail Chip, getting him down below half, which means he's in Water Shuriken range for Greninja. Greninja, like I mentioned, looking real good if I can at least chip or remove the Manaphy. He basically just loses to Greninja at this point, because Ice Beam, I believe Altaria is pretty close to, if not in Ice Beam range at this point. I'm just going to go into my Zygarde here. Like I mentioned, I am max HP with a good bit of Spadef, so I can probably live like a close combat into an HP Ice if he's Expert Belt, which he definitely could be on this set. But now that he's got the Infernape kind of weakened here with the lowered defenses, I'm going to predict him to expect an Extreme Speed, and I'm just going to throw off a Toxic on the incoming Serena switch in, which was, like I mentioned from the beginning, kind of the plan here was just to chip down the Serena with Hail and Toxic damage. Obviously, I've already shown the leftovers, so he knows kind of what my set's going to be here. And he also shows leftovers, so it is, in fact, a defensive Serena, which means I can probably just sub up on this thing. So I think that's what I'm going to do right here, actually. Oh, no, I went for Protect first to get extra chip with the Hail and the Toxic damage. I think he was probably predicting a switch out there into something like Obama Snow. But the Protect there allowed me to kind of scout for what he's going to do and get some extra chip. I'm going to Protect again on this Infernape, just in case he's Choice Scarf. I can figure out what he's going to do. I'm pretty sure it's not a setup variant of Infernape, and he just goes for the U-turn. So now I'm kind of thinking it's Scarf Infernape. It could still be something like an Expert Belt with HP Ice, but I kind of doubt it. But he's now showed U-turn in close combat so far, and of course no item, so he's not Life Orb or anything like that. Obviously he's going to get to go back out into his Serena here, as I'm just going to go for 1,000 arrows. If he stayed in with the Infernape to HP Ice Me or something like that, I had a really good roll to live it, and I would be able to remove the Infernape, which would have been great for me. But the Serena coming in is not so bad either. Like I mentioned, it's defensive Serena, so odds are, unless he has Play Rough or High Jump Kick or something like that, my substitute can live a hit from him. And if he does have High Jump Kick, I can just throw over Protect and whack him for 50% of his health. He goes for the knockoff, and of course, like I mentioned, he's not going to break my substitute, which is amazing. So Zygarde is in here, just Toxic Sawing the crap out of the Serena. Doing a really good job here removing it from play. So he really just doesn't have any more Hydro Pump switching besides the Manaphy left. Once again, not that he had a great Hydro Pump switching in the first place in Serena here, because it would just die to an Ice Beam afterwards, assuming he's physically defensive like I think he is. So Zygarde here, just gonna slowly chip down this Serena. Slowly. This is kind of a weird point here, because we're at a stage in the game where I kind of want to stay in because I don't have anything great to switch into, and Zygarde's doing a pretty good job wearing down this Serena. But it's also difficult for me to risk things like Substitute or Protect, because he can just get in the Altaria, so that's why 1,000 arrows there, as opposed to doing something else. But now I'm just going to be able to 1,000 arrows and knock out the Serena. Obviously, if I substituted or something like that, and he went Mega Altaria, I was in a pretty bad position. I'd basically be sacking something off again, because my Mega Abomasnow is already Mega Evolved, which means my Soundproof is gone. Plus, I wouldn't really want to switch that thing in anyways, because I'm expecting him to have like Fire Blast, and I won't be able to KO him with Ice Shard at this range. So looking at it again, I'm thinking since he's already shown a special move, he could be something like an Agility Sweeper Mega Altaria, so just not really wanting to deal with that. I'm going to go for Toxic here, as he just throws off a Draco Meteor and knocks me out. Fair enough, Mega Altaria is a beast. I don't have great switch-ins, you know, such as life. But Zygarde actually doing a really good job there, removing the Serena from play and getting a Toxic on this Altaria, which is really big to keep it getting chipped here to stay in range of things like my Greninja and my Tapu Koko. Here I go out into the Tapu Koko, predicting him to fear something like a Dazzling Gleam or Life Orb Dazzling Gleam or something like that. And I'm just going to throw off my Tapunium Z. Even if he stays in, it's going to do massive damage to the Altaria and basically remove it from play. But I am predicting, like I mentioned, the Nidoqueen switch in as he does go into it. And I take off 3/4 of its health with the Tapunium Z. So basically, as prepped there for the Tapu Koko, weakening the Nidoqueen. Don't really have anything I want to switch into Nidoqueen though, so I'm just going to go for the Hidden Power Ground. And I get an unfortunate crit on Jeff. Obviously, like I mentioned, if that's Spadef Nidoqueen, which I think it was, he said later on, It should have lived that hidden power ground. But now it basically means Coco's in a much better position here. He can't go Manaphy. He can't go Infernape unless it's like Choice Scarf Gunk Shot, which I don't think he is either. So I'm just going to weaken down this Altaria here. Obviously, I can take one from him, the Hyper Voice there. And Thunderbolt plus Toxic damage is really going to start racking up. So really seeing where that Toxic's coming in clutch here from the Zygarde before I let it go down. Obviously, one Thunderbolt plus Toxic will kill him this turn, so I'll just go for another one here. But he does reveal the Roost, which means he's going to be able to live the next round of Thunderbolt plus Toxic damage and knock me out. But again, kind of that Toxic from Zygarde just being huge in this scenario here, and I'm kind of content to sack off my Tapu Koko to remove this Mega Altaria from being a threat anymore. As he does go for the Hyper Voice, I was hoping for a double down here, but he actually is only going to take 18% of toxic damage this turn, leaving him with 1%, unfortunately, because I really wanted to be able to get in my my Nidoking on the double down, because like I mentioned, I am Choice Scarf, so I would have been able to KO the Infernape or Thunderbolt the Manaphy. But I am still going to go into my Nidoking here. Like I mentioned, I'm Choice Scarf, so I should outspeed everything on his team, assuming it's not Choice Scarf Infernape. And Choice Scarf Infernape won't OHKO me from full with an Earthquake or anything like that. So he's kind of forced to go into his Manaphy here. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure, again, this is Z Rain Dance, and I can't let him set up on me. So I'm just going to go for Thunderbolt here and take off a massive chunk of this thing's health. That's going to put it in range of Giga Drain at this point. Obviously, I didn't need that much damage to put it in range of Giga Drain, but he is going to show the Z Rain Dance, which ostensibly looks really bad for me. Obviously, Choice Scarf Nidoking still not going to outspeed this thing because it's faster naturally, and is going to knock me out with the Surf. So at this point, really only can go into my Mega Abomasnow. Like I mentioned, if he has HP Fire, like he's got HP Fire, I should live it from full. I think the max roll was something like 87% from Timid Manaphy, but he only has the Signal Beam, which presumably was to also hit my Greninja. So good prep on his end trying to hit both of them, but there's really not a lot he could have done here in terms of the Abomasnow. So I'm just going to knock him out with a Giga Drain. Good job, Wampa, coming up with another kill here. I still haven't really figured out how to use Mega Abomasnow, but I'm hoping in future weeks he can do a little bit better for me. But he's been doing pretty well so far, I think. Getting that massive Blizzard damage off on Infernape early game was huge, because like I mentioned, now it's in Water Shuriken range, and I just can't let him go for like a weird sub or anything like that here. So I'm just going to Ice Shard to put him below range of where he can use a substitute, and he's going to knock me out with the close combat as expected. And like I mentioned, definitely in Water Shuriken range. Even if he's Pasho Berry or something, 2 hits will knock him out from this range, especially with the minus defenses from the close combat. So really good game to Jeff, really close game, really fun game. One of the most fun games I've actually had playing in League. Not to say I haven't had fun playing League, I've been having a blast playing Leagues. But this is kind of one of my favorites, actually. Not only because it was against Jeff, who's a great battler and a good friend, but also just because it came down to the wire, essentially. Like, he did have Mach Punch on this Infernape. So the Water Shuriken, which I actually didn't have originally in my prep, I think I had something like U-Turn or something like that originally. The Water Shuriken was super clutch on Greninja here. And Greninja, again, kind of showing how just being a coverage monster and really just being able to hit pretty hard despite its meager offensive stats. It's really coming in clutch this year. I think I've got, in 3 games here, I think it's got 6 kills now on Greninja. And that was even after a really poor showing week 1 versus Dick. So Greninja in this game picking up the KOs on Infernape and Stakataka. Just being really, really clutch in the back there and kind of stealing this game. Really close 1-0. Really fun game, like I said, to Jeff. And we'll hope we can keep this momentum going. It's 2 in a row now that we've won. Next week, we've got Jacob of the Bethlehem Bisharp, who's always kind of fun to battle. He brings some cool sets and usually has some really close games. So I'm looking forward to playing Jacob's team. He's got a very offensive squad, and we're hoping we can walk away with another W there. But hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, feel free to hit the like button. I guess I should start asking people to hit the like button if they like it. I don't know. Let me know if you like the music too, and if it's too loud or anything like that. Just so I can know how to adjust my sliders for future videos. But hopefully you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.